The funny thing about being 17 and on the road with a bike is that I actually like passed my car license before my bike, so I didn't need to get a bike just because of the fact that I didn't have a car. I mean, the car I drive is not mine; it's borrowed. But I think I just always wanted something of my own to drive or ride, even at this point. And it kind of gets me to the point where I actually agree with a lot of with the age restrictions that come with getting a certain power bike. I mean, you see TikToks of these guys, like actual liter bikes in the US and stuff like that. And I just think, I know myself that I've been in so many situations where I have been on like really close calls, crashes wise, that I know I would have crashed in if I would have had a more powerful bike. But the fact that I have a less powerful bike, I know is more more difficult to ride, but then also you sort of build up that skill to get over to the bigger bikes, so it all transfers over, and it just makes sense to me. I guess the thing with that is that when you when you get up to 60 miles an hour, I mean, I'm on a 125 cruiser, and I think Yamaha YZFs, some people claim are doing 80 miles an hour, which I don't believe, because it's all the same engine, right? But that's what they're saying. But even then, it's not a big speed, 60 miles an hour, because I'm actually really properly cranking it, and it just sounds like this little lawnmower. So yeah, I agree with the fact that maybe for cross-country journeys it might not suit too well, but it's not that bad. It's just sort of sticking it out, really. And there's a brilliant number of benefits with 125s. I mean, my fuel is £15 for the full tank, and that's not until it clicks. That's like all the way to the tippy top, which means from where I live to London, it costs me £2.50 in fuel from central London to where I live, which is mad to me, because I know trains will cost way more than that, and I mean, cars again will cost more. Parking's expensive, and like driving in London with a car is a pain as well. So for something like living in the city, a bike is kind of like a no-brainer, because you get the fun bit of being an absolute menace in traffic, but then also, you're on a bike, so that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess when it's raining and stuff, that's not ideal, but apart from that, it's great fun. It really is. And it's strange to be a rider as well, because there's so many negatives to very little positives, but the positives are so big that they kind of, to me, outweigh the negative. I guess it's all like a personal choice, but for example, for me, every rider knows the fact that it's so much more dangerous to go out on a bike. I think you're 13 times more likely to crash every time you ride on that bike than you do in a car. Most riders crash within their first 6 months. There's tons of statistics about it and everything. Again, that's kind of scary. Like, you always go up to friends and you're like, yeah, no, I got here on a bike and all of that, and then they always have this friend that died on a bike, which. There's no need to remind me how much in danger I am. I know, I've taken that calculated risk and all of that. But the two positives are that it's cheaper to run. I mean, obviously after you get on the setup costs, the gear, the bike insurance, all of that. It's cheaper to run. My road tax was £25. Brilliant. It's cheaper to run, and it's just so much more fun as well. I mean, but again, it's a hassle to get all your gear on, and bikes are more easily stolen, and I think that there's double, if not triple, the amount of negative to getting a bike and riding a bike than there are to positives that I can think of. One thing I have noticed though is that it's like the machine equivalent to owning a dog as a conversation starter. Everyone will go up to you and like talking about your bike and how they wanted one, how they rode one 20 years ago, and all of that. And it's kind of like a weird experience for me, because I didn't expect for that to happen. Basically, I just thought, you get on, you get off, and that's a good bit of fun. Parking though, oh my God, parking's so fun. I've snuck into places where, I paid my first parking fine for a car yesterday, 50 quid, because, I didn't buy anything at Sainsbury's before leaving the car park. That's so stupid, but on a bike, no problemo. There's no number plate on the front, so even if I did ride in, there wouldn't be an issue there at all, which is just insane to think about. So, not only situations like that, but also, for example, when I go to the library, I park there for free. I'll just, pull up next to the door, get off, lock it up, in you go. It's absolutely brilliant. So, there are a lot of negatives and there's a lot of positives, but generally, I think it's been a wild experience. Knock on wood that I don't crash, because I haven't yet. That's me knocking on wood, by the way, because I'm recording this after I've recorded the footage. I haven't got a mic for my GoPro yet. I don't really know why I bought it to begin. Well, no, I know why I bought it. I think half of the reason was, as a helmet cam to, because if and when I crash, I want, if it's someone else's fault, I want that to be recorded, because that is that's important as evidence and stuff for insurance and all of that. So yeah, and I don't know. I just thought as I was looking for one that, it would actually be like such a good idea to, start talking in the back of my videos, because I've got a bit to say. There's a good chance no one will listen to me, but that's fine. That's not a problem. I'll just keep talking. But it's generally, it's just such a strange experience. But anyway, the thing is, because I've driven a car for 6 months before having a bike, and I think generally before, while driving the car, I learned a good bit of road sense and, where people are looking and how to do roundabouts safely. Roundabouts were my biggest problem when I was learning. I think that's pretty common. But, come test day, I was absolutely fine. So, it's good in the fact that I think for 16-year-olds on 50cc's, that is dangerous, in my opinion. 50. They don't go above 30 mile an hour. So in London, they'd be okay. But generally, if you're at a decently, like a 30 mile an hour roundabout, and it takes you 10 seconds to get up to 30 miles an hour, it's dangerous, in my opinion. And so pair that with the fact that a 16-year-old passed a simple course and is just straight on the roads. It's kind of weird, and it feels illegal. It's definitely not, but it does feel illegal. So, I don't know, it's just, I don't like it. But then, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of riders crash so early, is that they haven't, developed their rides, their detective sense, if you like. The breaking down of little hints and things, and learning how other drivers think, and sort of reacting to it defensively rather than offensively, which I'm not always 100% on doing, but 90% of defensive riding is a lot better than no defensive riding at all. But I don't know. I think it's just a lot better to have some experience on the road in a car or something, where it's a lot safer and people see you a lot easier and everything. Because I've had so many instances now where people just pull it out on me, and I always thinking I got pulled out by a caravan the other day, and it was literally 20 meters ahead of me, and I was just thinking, don't do it, you absolute wally, what are you doing? Don't do it. Then he pulls out and he does it. I'm like, okay, great. So, I was expecting it, so you react accordingly, and it's not too big of an issue. But I just feel like for someone new to riding, they wouldn't react as well, and you know that's where you get your problems. So yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of positives and there's a lot of negatives, and generally, I don't know, it's been interesting as an experience.